pretty close to my heart, and we've got two of just the nicest, kindest people you'll ever meet anywhere. But before we introduce them, I want to speak to the Rob Meister. Rob, you there?
In fact, yes, sir.
All right. How long have you been married, Rob?
I've been married for 12 years.
12 years.
In September.
Your wife must really be committed to the concept of marriage.
Yeah, I guess so.
You guess so? I still don't know how you talked her into saying yes, but
I don't either.
yeah, but good for
It
you.
remains a mystery.
Good for you. Hey, are you old enough to have watched The Princess Bride?
Yes.
Yes?
Several times.
So I thought I'd start. I didn't have the courage, so I didn't start the intro by doing the scene with the priest.
Marriage
is what brings us here together today. I guess I just did it, didn't I? So yes, everybody, we're talking about marriage today, and in the studio with me is Adam Holcomb and Chelsea Harris, two folks who work with Compass Ministry. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So, in a elevator pitch, Adam,
Yeah.
where you have just a few moments to explain to somebody what is Compass Ministry. What is Compass Ministry?
All right. Well, Compass Marriage and Relationship Services is a ministry of Patrick Henry Family Services and Hope for Tomorrow Counseling.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we provide relationship education to youth, singles, premarital couples, and couples, really strengthening their relationships and teaching youth and young people what a healthy relationship looks like. And that's our goal and our passion, and that's
what you do.
what we do.
So, those who know us here at Patrick Henry Family Services know that we're about confronting the reasons foster care exists.
Yes.
So, what does Compass have to do with that? I mean, why are we spending some resources in all that work you just explained?
Yeah. So, one of the videos that, at Patrick Henry we're really proud of is the Tale of Two Rivers, right? That concept that there's an unhealthy river and there's children in it. And our goal is that we want every child in a loving, thriving family surrounded by a faithful community. And one of the things that at some point I know that Patrick Henry really felt strongly about was the fact that in order to help children and to get them into thriving families, we've got to focus on thriving and growing and strengthening families.
Absolutely. So it's really twofold in my mind, right? There's the direct care or services you're providing to individuals, either couples in marriage or individuals getting ready to be married, in terms of preparation, but also conflict resolution for those who are married or any of those things. But it's also about helping the culture and our society accept that marriage is a healthy concept and a way to make the lives of children better, right? Right? So if family is the basis of a healthy society, then marriage is the basis of a healthy relationship or a healthy family, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Chelsea, how did you get involved in this, and what is your role in Compass Ministry?
Yes, so I will be working specifically with the youth
Okay.
and using a curriculum called How to Not Date a Jerk or a Jerkette.
I love that
Yes,
title.
yes, I do too. So my role will really be about bringing about an awareness to the youth about choosing healthy relationships, dating partners, just being able to bring an awareness to the youth, because a lot about the ministry is using our head over our heart. And I think with this in all starting in relationships, it's easy to think with our emotions rather than
Yes.
using our minds. So teaching that is something I'm very passionate about. So.
Well, the culture really sells the whole idea of the leading with emotions, right? Movies, and you can't watch a Disney television show that's centered on youth. Everybody's like boyfriend crazy or girlfriend
Right.
crazy, and it's like they're selling this really early. And then it's like, follow your heart, follow your
Yes.
heart.
Yes.
But that can get us in trouble, right?
Yes, definitely. And as as a counselor, I see the pain and the devastation that comes from, being an unhealthy relationship. So working with the aftermath of that really brings about that passion to want to engage with the youth and teaching them the skills. So
Right, and usually high school, certainly sometime in middle school, even grade school, they start, passing the little notes and stuff. They're practicing this relationship stuff, right?
right.
And they could start a pattern that's unhealthy or negative,
yes,
and then that just follows them the rest of their life.
the rest of their life. Yep.
So your goal is to try to intervene at that time,
Yes.
stage in their life when they are starting these relationships. Because really all it is about meaningful, healthy relationships.
Absolutely.
That gets us through all of life, not just marriage, right?
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the goal.
So real quick, give me one principle of how not to, what do I need to do not to marry a jerk?
Yeah, I think taking the process very slowly when someone's thinking about a potential partner, taking the process slow, really evaluating the person, just knowing their character, really knowing them before all the other relationship dynamics come in.
Yeah.
So
Take it slow.
take it slow.
Take it slow.
Yeah,
Right at the time where they don't want to take anything slow.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly pray for that activity. It is so, so important.
Yes.
Yeah. And we'll get back to that in a minute.
Thank you.
Adam, so we need to give a shout out to somebody in regards to Compass Ministry, right? We didn't start this. So who do we need to give a shout out to?
We need to give a shout out to Larry Compter. Larry Compter was the founder of Compass, and Compass really started from Larry and a coalition of churches back in 2001 called Marriage Alliance of Central Virginia. And they named him executive director then, and he worked diligently for 20 years to guide Compass to what it is today, and really leaves Patrick Henry a legacy for us to build upon.
Yeah. So, Larry, if you're watching this morning, thank you. God bless you for that. And I pray that God will find us faithful to this ministry. What are your hopes and dreams for this ministry going forward, Adam?
Yeah. I've been in a lot of prayer about what Compass needs to be in the future as we talk about everything from cohabitation to divorce rates in marriage to just our culture and the fears that are there in our culture now because of so much fatherlessness, singleness. And so, we've always at Compass done three things: youth, relationship education that is available to everyone else. Maybe they don't, maybe they're not a youth, maybe they're not at the stage where they're ready to get into, an engagement. Maybe, they're divorced. Wherever they're at, there are so many people that don't know, haven't had the opportunity to really be taught basic relationship skills, how to be a good friend, a good partner, how to engage with other people in meaningful relationships.
Yeah.
And I know we'll probably talk a little bit more about meaningful relationships and how that ties into, Patrick Henry's visions.
Yeah.
But it's something that I feel that, you know, we needed to create our own curriculum to be able to tackle some of that. So the fourth area of Compass will be creating our own curriculum and then making this curriculum available to the public at large
Yeah.
to really attack this.
Yeah, so let's talk about meaningful relationship right now. I think it's a good time to do that. At Patrick Henry Family Services, we believe that meaningful relationship is how do you have change in your own life and how that change is sustained, whether you're a struggling youth or a couple or a family, right?
That's right.
There are programs and resources. These things are necessary sometimes, but at the heart of it, there is no change or sustained change without meaningful relationships, right? Whether we're trying to get out of poverty or out of an unhealthy relationship, we got to find a meaningful relationship. And what I like about that fourth emphasis is that I can't think of anything needed more in our society right now than healthy relationships. We don't know how to communicate to each other. We don't know, right, how to give and take in meaningful ways. Whether it's in business, right? Business partnerships are falling apart. Friendships are breaking up over social media comments. Politics is just uncontrollable right now. So really, it's an answer to a lot of things, isn't it?
It really is.
And what I love is the gospel is all about having a meaningful relationship
right.
with God, and that's how we change,
Yes.
find our being, and move forward in life. So whether it's about being a friend, a partner, a spouse, a parent, yeah, I love that, meaningful relationships.
Yes.
So let me go back to you, Chelsea. You mentioned cohabitation. So right now, a lot of young people believe the best way to get ready for marriage, if marriage is something they're even thinking about, is to cohabitate.
Right.
They believe it's practice
Yes.
for marriage,
Yeah.
but statistics showing us it's actually practice for
Right.
divorce.
Yes.
Why is
Yeah,
that?
Yeah, I think it's really missing the commitment piece, right? The cohabitation. It's not under that marital covenant. There's not a commitment there, so it's easy when things get hard. Okay, I could just leave. I'll just move out. But with marriage, it's committed. So putting in the work, putting in when problems arise. So yes, it's
And every time you leave,
yeah,
it's easier the next time.
right.
And so what I believe, and I think the data is showing this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes folks are going into marriage with this back door in the back of their mind, their escape plan, which
Yeah.
is, if this doesn't work out, I can always get a divorce,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so just having that escape plan there makes it easier to back out, especially if you've had practice doing that.
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
So somehow we got to kind of like close that
Exactly.
door.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, we would say that no person should be feel responsible for being in a relationship and where they're being physically or mentally abused. Is that fair to say that? Even though we believe as strongly as we do in marriage, nobody should feel compelled because they're committed to marriage to continue to receive abuse.
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah. I don't agree
right,
with that.
don't,
That's
okay.
right.
So we just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure if somebody's watching that and you're in one of those relationships,
Yeah.
okay, your safety is paramount.
That's
so
right.
That's right.
and the safety of your children, particularly if
Yes.
there are children in there.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's see. Adam, tell us. Well, both of you are counselors.
That's right.
Right, that's you're licensed professional counselors. You started out at Hope for Tomorrow as counselors, and so this sits under the kind of the leadership or the wing of Hope for Tomorrow. Are there is Hope for Tomorrow a good place for marriage counseling? I mean, they don't have to just go particularly to Compass Ministry for that, right? They could get help for conflict resolution or at Hope for Tomorrow, right? Our counselors are prepared for that.
They are. So at Hope for Tomorrow Counseling, yeah, we provide, a wide variety of, services. So we provide counseling for couples and families and children. But when it came time to see where Compass fit within Patrick Henry Family Services, I think that they chose Hope for Tomorrow Counseling because it was a natural fit.
Yes.
We're providing education specifically for strengthening relationships. And in counseling, that's the core of what you're doing, right? It's those meaningful relationships between a counselor and their client that creates that bond, that meaningful
Yes.
relationship, and that's where healing begins.
Right.
Absolutely.
So what better fit than under that umbrella?
Yeah.
So,
So why don't we take a break right now and see just a little promo for Hope for Tomorrow? Rob Meister, are you ready for that, sir?
Hope for Tomorrow is a great opportunity for people to get the help that they're needing.
We're passionate about making sure that every person has a meaningful relationship that can guide them.
Yeah, nice promo. And if you have need of services for Hope for Tomorrow, please check us out. They have you can go to Hope for Tomorrow and check them out on the website and find out a location that may be near you. We're in 8 different locations. Is that right? Yeah,
That's right.
Good. So I will be married 40 years in December.
Wow.
A feat that I did not conceive possible in my youth because I didn't see that as an example, right? Grew up in a kind of a toxic, dysfunctional family, multiple marriages, divorces, live-in, cohabitations, overnighters, those kind of things. Just so I just didn't think that was maybe my future. I wanted it to be, but didn't know how. And somebody talked me into doing premarital counseling, which I thought was very helpful. You guys sell us right now, if anybody's watching, sell us on the virtue and the value of premarital counseling. You want to take a crack at it first, Chelsea?
I think the value, I think it's very important because you are committing the rest of your life to someone, right? And a lot of things come up, maybe things from the past that come up when you're in that relationship, in that dating relationship, and being able to work through those areas and, just redirect and come up with different beliefs about yourself and the other person. I think it's just necessary to.
And you mentioned it. There's not only issues from your past
Right.
that the other person should know about
Yes.
to help navigate, but premarital counseling for me helped Karen and I think about the future
Okay.
and where we might differ philosophically on things, so that we had these conversations going into this.
Right.
Like parenting, for example, right?
Yes.
When you think of what do most couples argue about? It's usually about parenting, money,
Yeah.
what's the other, religion,
Yeah.
right? So you need to. There's some big ones, but those are some of the big ones. So
Yeah.
it forced us to talk about it because
It
when you're
forced you-
dating, you don't just talk about, well, what do you
Yeah.
think about parenting?
Right.
Well,
you-
we're just on our first date. Can we not talk about
Yeah.
that?
We've definitely overlooked many things that
do.
maybe you wouldn't have if and you're coming from 2 different backgrounds, 2 different cultures, families. So coming together as one, it could bring up a lot of things that need to be discussed.
Yes. And
Yeah.
my wife and I were so different culturally. She's from the north, I'm from the south.
Okay.
And even today, we still she said, why do you think like that? And I go, why do you think like you do? I'm a southerner, you're a northerner,
Yeah.
but but it goes back to right? When you're in that romantic dating stage, you're following your heart,
Right.
not the head.
Not using the head.
Later in the marriage, though, there's a lot of head stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Right, and so it's better to deal with that first.
I agree.
What would you add to this, Adam?
Yeah, I would say that what I tell couples is one of the biggest things that you're going to realize is that expectations that you set may not be the same expectations that your partner has. And it's so important that two people get on the same page. You know, that they have that ability to talk out all the things that they haven't even thought of discussing yet that they're going to come into, you know, whether it's how they're going to agree about, you know, the checkbook, how they're going to agree about
Oh, that was the other one, money.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Who's providing? You know, who's paying these bills? You know, you've got this, I've got this. What are we doing? You know, everything from what are your expectations on how we're gonna, you know, how many kids are we gonna have, and you know, am I working? You're working. You know, we're both working. Who's gonna watch the kids? You know, and all these expectations. You know, and once we start to unfold those things. Let them think about and discuss it and unpack it and go through it, and they begin to take some of those expectations that maybe they had in their minds and resolve them and come to the same page. You know, how that changes their relationship. They can go in the beginning from being uncertain in so many different areas, right? And by the time you finish working with someone, how that they're on the same page.
Right.
Their expectations now are their expectations, not
Yes.
just my expectations and your expectations.
So we would see that as a win, but wouldn't it also be a win if a couple says, you know, after thinking about this,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Definitely.
So I've had a chance to do some premarital counseling as a pastor. I'm not a counselor right up front, right? But I felt as a pastor, you get asked to do the weddings, and people spend so much time and energy thinking about a wedding and
Yeah.
not thinking about what happens after the wedding. I just got to tell you the story. So a young couple came in asking for marriage counseling, and I said, well, how long you guys been married? And they said 5 days. I said, oh, okay. I said, how long have you been married? You know, how long did you date or know each other before you got married? And they said 5 days. I said, oh, okay. And then as they start unpacking all these issues, I just thought, my goodness, you know.
Right.
And so I was up front with them. I said, I don't think I'm qualified for this. I think you probably need to find some professional counseling help. You know how long the marriage lasted after that? 5 days.
That's what I was going to say.
Wow.
It was, if I remember, it was something like his second and her third. And,
Okay.
and so here again, they hadn't learned from the previous.
Right.
They were following the same patterns.
Same patterns.
And I think each time the relationship ended sooner. It never should have started when you hear how they met and they rush in with their heart and this is going to
Yeah.
last and then they wake up after, you know, day one and go, wow. You know,
What did I do?
what did,
Yeah. Yeah.
what did I do? So it's so important that, you know, I in my mind thinking I was grateful that they hadn't had children,
Yeah.
right? Because that, you know, here's a child who's going to have to then pick up the pieces of who these two people are who will never get along together the rest of their life. And isn't that really why we spend so much time thinking and talking about this is because we ultimately want to keep children from being hurt by bad relationships that should have never maybe started. Or right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
So, so for those couples who are contemplating divorce, is it too late to go back and try to do some of the early work they should have done? Either one of you can answer that question.
I don't believe it's ever too late. It really comes down to each person. If they both feel in their hearts that they are willing to try. Again, it comes back down to a commitment piece. If all they need is a little grain, a little mustard seed of commitment, that they both say, hey, I want to make this work. That's all they need. We can teach them the basics. If they want it, they can have it. It's there for them. Because, there's obviously a reason why that they chose to be together, right? And those things never went away. It's just that life and their expectations and their choices has overclouded really their perception of what they originally thought about each other.
Yeah.
And when they come back and they realize, hey, I want to make this work, that's all we need. We can show them that you go through these basic areas. We can find agreement. You can find agreement. If you want it, you can have it.
So it's not too late to go back and learn what you should have learned in the beginning. I'd say the same thing with parents who are having parenting issues, and they say, well, nobody really taught me how to be a parent, right? And now I don't know what to do. It's not too late to go back and learn some of the basics and rebuild that relationship with that child, right? We have a comment from Nicole Thorne saying premarital counseling is immensely valuable in helping to guide important discussions and insights to the relationships by helping them to bypass the emotions. Your point,
Yes.
Chelsea.
Yes.
Bypass those emotions.
Right.
And even during a divorce, sometimes it's about, all right, here's the emotions right now. Let's bypass that and let's see, do we have something that this relationship can stand on and build on that, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly for sake of the kids, if those are involved.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us, how does one contact Compass Ministry,
Yeah.
and how do they learn more about the services that you guys provide?
Absolutely. Well, first place to go would be patrickhenryfamilyservices.org, right? And you can fill out the help form. Go ahead and put in the question box, and it'll email us, and we'd be happy to email you back and begin that conversation. You can also email me directly at aholcomb, AHOLCOMB, at patrickhenry.org, and I'd be happy to begin a relationship with you and begin to talk to you about Compass and how they can get involved. And of course, they can call 434-300-HOPE, and
434-300-HOPE.
Yes.
For those of you who still actually call with the telephone.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so let me encourage you. Yes, if anything we said today sparks anything personally about a need that you may have, or sparks in you an interest in joining the cause of strengthening marriages and relationships, and how do we get our society back to a place where marriage is the foundation of family, and family foundation of society.
That's right.
You know, if you're interested in lowering that divorce rate, right, which is about 50%
That's
right now. But we should probably say, and I'll close with this, that sounds very discouraging. People say, wow, I only got a 50-50 chance. But that also counts all the multiple divorces,
That's right.
right? So
Yeah.
it's counting the person's second or third divorce. So, just Hollywood itself probably skews the
Yes,
data.
yeah.
You have a better than 50-50 chance going into marriage. But if you really want to improve that chance,
That's right.
premarital counseling, learn about healthy relationships, and commit and decide you're going to be married for the rest of your life.
That's right.
And if you decide you're going to do that, then you're going to want to pick well. Choose
Yes.
wisely, right?
Choose
That's
wisely.
right.
Choose wisely.
That's right.
Hey, Chelsea, Adam, it was a pleasure visiting with you. Didn't I tell you they were some of the nicest people that you'd ever want to meet? Hey, folks, thank you so much. God bless you, and we'll see you next Thursday on Community Connect.
Nobody gets to choose their family. If a person is fortunate enough to be born into a healthy family, then life can be much like floating down a smooth, gentle river in the summertime. But an unhealthy family is like a dangerous river, filled with rocks, debris, and fast-moving water. This river swiftly leads to the steep waterfall of adulthood, tragically forming a new river of dysfunction. Even if you aren't born into an unhealthy river, there are many streams that cause a person to get there. But there is only one way to get out, and that is through a meaningful relationship. Across our region, there are many agencies, churches, and families who are devoted to helping children escape from unhealthy rivers. Some feel their role is to wade in and rescue children. They foster, adopt, or provide safe families. Others stand by the river and support the rescuers by providing what they need. Still, others are upstream and stand in the gap to keep children from ending up in the negative situations. At Patrick Henry Family Services, we see ourselves as having an additional role. We are running up and down the shores of the unhealthy river, screaming, "Can't you see the children in the water? You have to do something." Vision 30 is a 10-year initiative. By 2030, we envision a region where all children are safe in their own family, or with caregivers who are supported by a local faith community. So, where do you stand at the river? Are you upstream, keeping families together and strong by standing in the gap? Are you in the river, directly impacting children? Are you on the shore, providing support for the brave folks who have entered the river? Or are you just passing by without noticing? No matter who you are, come down to the river with us. Let us help you find your place. Not only will lives be changed, but you will never be the same.